Okay, so I'm back, and I'm not. So I did the W Kruger live fan show. Like I said, that one requires fan participation, and it really sucks if I don't have fans participation. This right here is a live that anybody can jump into and anybody can come and talk to if you want. It doesn't make any difference to me because these are the types of videos that I'm trying to make. So, in the meantime, while I'm not making them as specially edited uh for them to be put out on lives, I can go ahead and just make a live and just like cut them up later. So here we go.
This man will not.
Jesus. Alrighty. So what the heck is really going on? What is this? Let me see what this is first. Let's see what this is first. Hold on.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's
And
Planet Fitness.
forgive
With
my
free fitness training
not
and
having
equipment
premium,
for
guys.
every workout. Join.
This is gonna be a short video. I'm just kind of, I don't know if this is a rant or I'm just blowing off steam, but I was just working out and things were going through my mind. And a lot of us know the quote by Voltaire: "Those who can make you believe absurdities."
Hey, what's up, Logan? I did it the Dummy Cougar live fan show, and I'm gonna do a here's the deal rant. Um, so you can stick around if you want. If you don't, it's okay. I'm gonna cut it up and make a video of it eventually. But for right now, I'm just gonna like rant on this guy. I really hate this guy. But let's see what we got going on here.
Can make you commit atrocities. And you've got to ask yourself, who can justify in their minds the atrocity of pulling some guy on a bicycle over and giving him a citation, which is a monetary ding because he doesn't have reflectors on the front or back of his bicycle?
But okay, you see, lately I've been like pondering these scenarios, right? And so a guy like this always makes it about the monetary part, right? And oh, how could they do this to a guy that's just on a bike or whatever the case may be, right? And so there you go, Logan. Arby's is the place that has the meats. You know what? I don't I'm not gonna knock you for going to Arby's. I've never liked Arby's, but then again, sandwiches. You know what I mean? Sandwiches. I make better sandwiches at home than any fast food restaurant could ever think of. Like I just sandwiches. I can't do that. Sandwiches. What could I say? Anyways, I've been pondering about this whole situation about how cops and the monetary gain stuff and all that stuff and everything. How these guys always talk about that. And I always tell everybody, it's like, what do you want? Okay, what do you want? If the cop never stops anybody and never does anything about somebody not having reflectors on their bike or whatever, and then somebody gets into an accident and then somebody gets hurt or whatever, who's gonna get the blame for not having the reflectors? um yeah, the person who gets into the accident is going to say, well, that person didn't have reflectors, and then the other person is going to get into the argument that, oh, the like, why do I need to have reflectors or whatever? I can barely afford a bike, whatever. You know what I mean? This is why there has to be somebody, like, looking at these rules. I get it, some things are very ticky tack, and you don't want to, like, you shouldn't want to pay, like, a whole bunch of money over something as dumb as reflectors. But at the same time, it's like, when something happens, who pays for that bill? Like, do you want to wait for something huge to happen before somebody pays that bill? Now, I think that our system is not great. I think that our system needs to be worked on. But when we get to this thing, when it's talking about these things like reflectors or whatever, I think that's where, like, individual judges need to be chosen for these things. Not that we don't do that already, but I think there should be a judge that takes care of people that when it comes to these kind of ticky tack type of, tickets, that can go ahead and dismiss them if they seem like they're the first time, or if the person has gotten the ticket over and over again over the same thing, then they should get, they should get a ticket for that. They should get the fine for that. But people don't look at it like that. They don't want to see the nuance in it. They just want to see that the cop lets you go because, why give somebody a little ticky tack ticket over a stupid bike situation? It's very, very, like, minute, and, like, almost like a nothing thing. But in the world of the person that rides the bike and the person that gets hit by the bike, it's a big thing. High society, Red.
Who can justify, and that is an atrocity. Who can justify the atrocity of
There's no atrocity from getting tickets. That they're using those words, you're being hyperbolic, and it's wrong to use words like that over people getting tickets.
pulling a single mother over because she didn't have a seat belt and it's going to result in a $175 fine? Who can justify the atrocity of sitting along a roadside just waiting for somebody to go 5 miles an hour over the speed limit so you can economically terrorize them and basically suspend their rights while they're pulled over on the road?
Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? People are getting pulled over? Somebody's waiting for them to be like 5 miles over the speed limit for them to get pulled over? Is that what's happening? God, would you play? What's wrong with you?
Roadside. Oh, and jeopardizing the life of not only the officer, but the victim that he pulled over. Who can justify those atrocities? Well, we know the answer to the question. Cops can justify those atrocities. Politicians can justify those atrocities. And we're not talking about
The people who vote for those politicians can justify those atrocities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
beings. We're talking about human beings like us. There are human beings like us who put on a uniform, a badge, a gun, believe that they have the authority of the state, and believe that they can just remove.
They don't believe they do. They don't believe they do. There's a difference. You believe that you believe that they have all the authority in the world and they can do anything to us. That's what you believe. You believe that they are doing this because they wake up in the morning saying, I can't wait to take the money away from a single mother who didn't put on her seatbelt today. That's what you believe. It's not what they believe. And I think it's wrong for you to assume what they believe. You shouldn't be assuming what they believe. That only, of course, makes an ass out of you and them. Here comes
our rights and do bad things to other people when they know good and well they wouldn't want those bad things done to them. Why do they do them? Because somewhere along the line, somebody has caused them to believe in atrocities. I mean, believe in absurdities. And they now commit atrocities. One of those absurdities that they believe to justify the fact that they can commit these atrocities is law. Law. What is legality? What is illegality?
Law is law, illegality is illegality. Where's the nuance there? I don't. You're not making any sense, man. What is it that you want? You want the cops to do whatever you want them to do? That's not how our society works. And I get it. The thing is that it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect as society. Right? I saw your comment. Like, yeah, this is what people like this don't understand. To them, it's about the ticket, right? It's about, oh, I'm going to lose money or whatever. It's a hassle to me. It hurts or whatever, right? But they don't understand that. You know what? If these things aren't there, it's not because somebody said I want to take money from you all of a sudden. It's because there's accidents on the road. It's because there are actually people getting hurt, and that's why these laws need to come into play. If society ran well without the law wouldn't exist. The law exists because society hasn't ran well without it existing. So what are you talking about? Like, it's not an atrocity for somebody to get a ticket for speeding. It is an atrocity when that person who never got ticketed for speeding finally crashes and kills a family or kills people who are just, like, anybody. That's when it becomes an atrocity. You using words like that is hyperbolic. It's so disingenuous. I honestly think that you say things like that in order to make the people who are listening to you get scared or feel like there's nothing happening, or that society as a whole is not working on these things, and that's why you talk that way. And I hate that he talks this way.
what is right, what is wrong, what is morality, and what is immorality. All this kind of stuff is just turned upside down, inside out, on its head. Black is white, white is black. People are calling evil good and good evil, putting darkness for light, light for darkness, and then
See you, Logan. I hope you stop by later, or if you do get a chance to stop by later. And yeah, Society Red. If you don't speed, there won't be a ticket. I don't understand what's so hard about that. People to understand that. Whoa, what did I do? Oops. Yeah, let me share that again. There we go.
they're literally calling wrong right, and they're calling right wrong. And I say a lot on this channel, and we've talked about this a lot on live streams, but the conduit or the tunnel through which most, if not all, could be all evil enters the world is I was just following orders. I was just doing my job. I don't write the laws. I just obey them and I follow them and I enforce them.
Well, what is it that you want officers to do? They enforce the law. Yeah. So what? What is it that you want officers to do? You want them to not enforce the law? Do you think that officers will all of a sudden like just stop enforcing the law because people don't want them to enforce the law? Or do you think that, you know, there isn't any officer that uses his common sense when it comes to pulling people over? This is the stuff I don't understand. You say things like, "Oh, the officers enforce the law," just like Chile. "Oh, he enforced the law." Like if that's the way that's not the way they're thinking. That's not the way they're thinking. Now, is there a case for dickhead cops out there that actually feel that way? Yeah, there is. There is a case for that. There is a case for people who actually think that way. There is a case for always for people to be bad in their job. But you thinking that every single cop thinks like that, it makes it so that no cop can be trusted. And would you like people to look at you like that? Would you like people to look at your people the way you look at things to look at be looked at like that? Like you can't ever be trusted ever? Like the words you say can't ever be trusted? That's not right. You wouldn't put that on yourself or anybody that sees the way you see things. So why would you do that to the officers? Just because you don't see the things the way that you do?
And we've talked a lot about George Washington saying government is not eloquence. It's not reason. It's not rationality. It's not kindness. It's not patience. It's not love. It is force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. That's what government is. And that's one of those absurdities that people believe. And so when they believe in the cult of government and they believe in the construct of legality and illegality, then they.
So what cult do you believe in? What are we following here? It's a cult now? That type of language is the worst kind of language you can use when it comes to talking about something like our government. Our government isn't a cult. The Constitution isn't absolute. It can be changed. We vote to change it. Are there enough people paying attention to make a change? Maybe not. Maybe there are people who are not paying attention to that part enough for them to understand that they can make a change if they really want to. But you saying things the way you do doesn't help the situation. It gives a sense that there is no way that things could change for the better because nobody else is trying to. And so people don't look at our system the way it should be looked at. And that's wrong. You got to stop doing that where a quote. There's no change in a quote because a quote is run by one person. That's not how our system works. Our system has checks and balances. It was created so that not one person can take over it. Is it a perfect system? No. Does it need fixing? Yes. Does it mean that it's not the best one we got? It doesn't mean that you figured out some sort of solution. People like this guy say a bunch of stuff negatively towards our government or towards our system, but never give a solution as to how it can get better or how they would fix it. All they do is bitch and complain about how bad it is, but never want to offer up a solution or even think of one because they probably can't.
Can rationalize a whole bunch of evil and believe in their minds that they're doing good. Well, and it's like, what the frick is going on? So these human beings who are politicians, basically political parasites, sucking off the rest of us, stealing our money when they wouldn't want money stolen from them. And you got the badged law enforcers, the tyrants, the clowns, and
I hear you, Society Red. That's exactly it though. Like, you can't win either way, right? if the cops enforce the traffic laws, or why are they enforcing the traffic laws? They're tyrants, right? If they don't enforce the traffic laws, it's like, what are the cops getting paid for? They're not doing anything, and there's all kinds of accidents and this and that. I absolutely get where you're at. That's exactly what I'm saying with him. Look at the type of rhetoric this guy's spewing. It's like there is no other option than to like not be a part of the government, right? It's like, but you're not offering. There's no offering of an alternative. The only thing you're saying is that our government is bad. Great, our government is bad, but which one is better, and how can we fix it? There's no fixing it there, right? Because he doesn't want no fixes. He doesn't want anything to get better. What he wants is to abolish our government, which is not going to happen. First of all, and second of all, it's like, what do you want? Anarchy? Is that what you want? Is that what you're calling for? Anarchy? That's going to be somehow better to what's going on in our system currently? I don't think so.
Clown suits, justifying evil as though it were good so that they can sleep at night. Now you got a whole bunch of people who are cemented in cognitive dissonance. It's like people know smoking.
Yeah, I get what you're saying too, Society Red. Yes, they are the minority as far as like the way they think. But this is the thing that always gets me, like about shit like this. It's like these guys, although most Americans, and I'll say pretty much a lot of the Americans that live, towards the middle of the country, are gonna be smarter in the way that they think towards what this guy's thinking. People like that are just coming, like from other countries and stuff like that, and I've seen this in my communities and stuff like that, where like you got Hispanics that are already starting to learn the language and stuff like that, and they hear things that he's saying, and see, my culture, the people that live around me and stuff like that, they'll cling to things that people like this say, because to them it seems like they are smarter than what they are, or they seem more grandiose than what they are. And this is one of the reasons why I like to speak up against him, because these people are the ones that kind of like they'll give people ideas, and those people will think that their ideas are valid, or they think that they have some sort of like saying that that's intelligent or whatever, and they'll follow them, and they'll follow them blindly, and not think twice about it, and they'll end up getting themselves hurt. They end up getting their families hurt and stuff like that. And I've seen this. I actually seen this, and so that's why, like, I rather speak up against it to make people who don't have a complete understanding understand that things aren't what this person says. You know what I mean? I get that most people don't see it that way, but it's really important to get the people who are clinging to his words. It's mostly, like I said, it's people who have a limited vocabulary, who are following people like this, or people who just came over and don't really understand the laws as far as like the way things go. Like they just think they're listening to the popular opinion, or at least the opinion of people that they see talking about how cops are just revenue collections and you can't trust them, stuff like that.
Is wrong for them. People know that every cell in your body cries out, do not do this. You're destroying us. You're giving us cancer. There's 207 known carcinogens in every puff of your cancer stick. This is cognitive dissonance. They know it's wrong, but they continue to do it anyway.
So what are you doing? You know that the rhetoric you spew is wrong. So why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep trying to confuse people and give them information that's wrong? What's your cognitive dissonance?
Drinking excessively is horrible for your liver. You know that when you drink and you get behind the wheel of a car, which nobody should ever do, is dangerous not only to yourself, but people in your neighborhood. You could literally run over somebody that's in your family. They know it's wrong, but they continue to do it anyway, and they justify their actions. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they can't stop. They know what they ought to do, but they can't start. So someone convinced them that this absurdity is something that you need to believe in. And when you get them to the point of believing absurdities, there's legality and there's illegality. Hey, if it's against the law, it must be immoral. If it's for the law, if it's in line with the law, if it's legal, well, it must be moral. And then you get a whole bunch of people doing your thinking for you to the point where you do a whole bunch of evil and you start bringing a whole bunch of evil into the world. That's why the way you change the world is by changing yourself. If it is to be, it's up to me. You be the change you want to see in the world. That's the answer. People are like, you're always bitching about the problem, but you never come up with the solution. The solution is you. The solution is look in the mirror. You're
What? I don't get it. I don't get it. So he complains that the cops are enforcing laws that that are wrong and everything, and he says that they're revenue collectors, and then he says the solution is you. Make up your mind. Where you at, bro? Where you at? What is this double talk that you? Why are you contradicting yourself? So is it the system that's bad, or is it the person that's bad? Hey, what is this? What are you trying to make sense of here? Because you're not making it. You're not making any sense.
the one. You're the one who's got to spend the time, turn off the freaking idiot box in the corner, the mesmerization box, the hypnotist box,
Yeah.
and start doing some thinking. Start training your mind, training your body to get ready for things that may come at you in the future that you're going to have to be ready for. That's what you do. The solution is you. So when you have a whole bunch of order followers going, hey, I'm just following orders, you know what they're saying? They're saying, I'm going to do this evil right here, and I'm going to slap the good label on it because that's going to help me to sleep at night. It's utter BS, and it's really insanity. And it's no measure of good mental health to be considered well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society. We have a profoundly sick society. If our society thinks you're normal, you're probably doing something wrong.
Says who? Says who? Who says that? Who says that? You? Your assessment of society? Or the society as a whole say that? How can you make that decision for society? Who says that? You can't sit there and make an accusation like that and say that, oh, it's all of society when you don't have all of society's support. That doesn't make any sense. Who says that other than you? If you think that society is sick, then I don't know, man. Maybe you need to assess what you're doing because maybe society isn't sick. Maybe society sees you as sick. You somehow in that logic you can't like flip and reverse it to yourself. I thought you were the change that you wanted to be. Why does society's sickness have to dictate what you want to be? God.
Because almost everybody you know is freaking going crazy. Their minds have been pickled by CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. Think about that. MK Ultra Media, they're the masters of the ship when you turn on your TV. You're basically parking your mind in front of people who want to hypnotize you and cause you to believe absurdities. And, at first you might think, oh, that's absurd. That's dumb. That's stupid. Nobody will ever believe that. But then you keep on listening to it, and the more absurd it is, and the more and more you hear it, believe it or not, our psychological underpinning, the wires that put our minds together, start believing even the most idiotic stuff to the point.
Is he justifying what he does right now? Is that like a sell on the stuff that he does? It's like the more absurd I talk, the more crazy that I talk, the more it's gonna make sense to you. So just listen. Is that what he's saying? I swear that's what he's saying.
Where you got people wearing ritualistic shame muzzles and doing all this other nonsense because some scientist told you to believe, just believe, trust in the ... trust the government. They'd never let you down. Guys, like it or not, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are still, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Man, if you ever hear a government agent say that, run as fast as you can the other way. Dodge the helicopters, the spotlights, the dog.
So who do you run to? Who do you run to is my question. You say, oh, a government official says it's going to help you, you should run the opposite direction. Now, I believe that if you're a criminal, if you're somebody who's done something that's bad, because I've been there, I've been there. I've done the bad thing, and I know that when somebody comes to me and tells me, like, hey, I want to help you. I know now that when you're a criminal, you don't want to take that help. Why? Because it might get you into more trouble. if you're a criminal all day, don't listen to what the government's telling you. You want to know why? Because if there's a government agent trying to help you, he's trying to get information because he knows you committed a crime. I get that. But you're talking to a law-abiding citizen who all they're doing is going to work and living their regular life. Why wouldn't they take any help from the government? Now, is there pause to question when something's going on in the government? Sure. Can you question it? Sure. There's avenues to do that. But this, scary thing that, oh, you could never trust the government. I'm sorry, but I can't feed into that. I could say question it. I could say be wary of things that happen in the government. I could even say protest the government when it's necessary. But to say that every single thing that the government do is against you is like that. Come on, man. You haven't been paying attention. You haven't been living, with us. You haven't been in society. The only thing you want is to be able to get away with the things that you want to get away with, and that's the honest truth about all of this.
Dogs, just get out of there. Because these people are psychopaths. They're believing nonsense, absurdities. It's a freaking religion, for goodness sake. So what do you do? What do you change? You change yourself. But how do you change society when everybody's parked in front of the idiot box? When everybody's listening to CIA infiltrated media? When everybody's parked in front of the movies, just, looking at nonsense, reading nonsense, entertaining nonsense. And then they become nonsensical themselves. You are what you eat, and you are what you park your mind in front of, like it or not. Eventually, it's going to get to you. It's going to wear down. They don't spend $5.9 million for a 30-second Super Bowl ad because it doesn't work. It works. You put your stupid ad to sell your stupid product in front of enough people, and the lemmings are going to come marching with the...
It's called marketing. Marketing, okay? Yeah. So what? That's just a part of commerce. That's a part of, economics. What? But you're gonna put that, with the government. That's not the same thing, bro. Sorry, you're mixing things. Yeah, people park themselves on the TV. People are interested in commercials. Who cares? That has nothing to do with the government. It has everything to do with the way economics is run. Good thing you know about economics. What does that have to do with the government?
Dollars in hand going, give me that product. I can't live without it. It works. Marketing works. And that's what psychological operations is. It's a continual marketing campaign from the social engineers who know exactly to pull the strings. They get into the fuse box of our mind. They start pushing a bunch of buttons. And then before you know it, the conservative town you thought you were living in, the red town you thought you were living in, like this town right here. This is my town. I never would have thought that 98% of the people would have just submitted to the just unmitigated insanity on TV, on the idiot box. Never would have thought it. I mean, I knew things were bad, but I didn't know these old-time farmers would sit down and comply and roll up their sleeves and get the,
What exactly are you talking about? He said he didn't know this red town, this conservative. Well, what are you talking about, man? Like, dude, like, makes sense. Like, makes sense. I have no idea what you're talking about. What? So some people in your town voted against something that you didn't want to happen. Sorry, it's called democracy. It's kind of how things work, The majority is gonna win. Don't know exactly what you're expecting. I mean, did you vote? Did you put a campaign for whatever the hell you're talking about? I mean, was there anything in your rhetoric that said, like, I don't want to, I have no idea what the farmers voted against that you're not happy about? Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of your videos and they have nothing. I've never heard something about your town, about something that, like, you're not happy with. All you do is talk about police and how police are destroying the world. But you've never said anything about spending your town that you didn't like. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what it was. And you're still not talking about it, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Makes sense.
The Orwellian Jabarooski. Just crazy. And now they're going to ramp it up again, guys. Don't
Yes.
think that they're not going to. If they believe, and you believe, and everybody believes that they can take away your rights because of a crisis situation, don't think for a second they're not going to formulate more and more crisis situations so that they can have another opportunity to take more and more of your rights away. That's just how it works, man. There are people out there who want unmitigated, unbridled power over you, over your family, over your checkbook, over what goes into your eye gates and ear gates.
The very fortunate part is that our government is built on a system that's not going to allow them to do that. I mean, yeah, we've had some emergencies or whatever, but they didn't take over everything. We gave them power, yeah, and some things we gotta double check and look or whatever. We gotta be more informed about things. We gotta be smarter in the way we look at things. But these things don't mean that we've become dumber in that situation. You honestly think that COVID, excuse me, that thing that happened that got everybody like hurt, or like that got people sick, that somehow that is going to teach us how to do things even worse, or it's going to teach us to do things better? Is that teaching us that when emergency situations happen, how to respond to them in different ways? Yeah, but why does it always have to be towards this negative connotations, or these negative thoughts that, what, hey, this is going to get worse because X, right? The stuff that's happening in Hawaii, those fires and stuff like that, that that's something that's happening in Hawaii. And I wish that, that stuff didn't happen, but it's happening. And we have to figure out ways to help people that are in that kind of situation, because there are brush fires that happen here in California. And I don't know if they'll ever get as bad as they did in Hawaii, but if they do, I hope that Hawaii teaches us something as far as like how we, handle that type of situation. Have the people made mistakes? Sure. Are there going to be people that are going to make mistakes? Sure. That doesn't mean that the world is coming to an end, guy.
They want it all, man. It ain't enough that they fill their pockets with fiat currency Ponzi scheme money. They want you. They want you to own nothing and be happy. They want you to submit in lockstep to the Great Reset. They want you to eat the bugs. They want you to submit to the CBDCs, the central bank.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here, but it's obvious because now he's putting out a political rant here, because it's like he's talking about things that are going on with Democratic people, and I understand, like, there are things that the Democrats have done that people don't like, just like there was a time when Republicans couldn't do anything right. The whole two-party system situation with me is like, I'm done looking at things as sides, and it will start from here, because like, I'm really tired. I'm really tired of like being like, oh, I'm on this side or I'm on that side, whether it be politically or whether it be like with friends or whatever. We got to stop doing that. If things on one side work with you and the people you care about because it's the right thing, then go with that. And if you feel like there's something that you disagree with, think about how it affects you. And if it affects you in a way that you feel like you can't go with it, then don't go with it. This whole thing about, oh, I need to be on this side or I need to be on that side. Nobody needs to be on any side. Be on the side that works for you. Be on the side that is best catered to the things that you need, and then make a decision based on that. Don't base the things that you like on the things that are meant to help you out. If you like something and you just like something for liking it, then just like it. Who cares? Who cares whether other people are going to follow you to it? Who cares if people are going to want to be a part of what you're doing? Just do it. Like it for what you're doing, and that's it. He says, be the change you want to be. Be the thing that you want to be. Be the thing that you want to be. Whether it is, like somebody who likes who they are and likes the things that they're doing, do that. Stop listening to what other people tell you to do. Be happy with who you are. Be happy with the things that you do. And in the end, if nobody else does it with you, who cares, as long as you're happy? This whole thing about things that are cult and tribe and stuff like that, like all this stuff that we talk about, it's like, it's useless. It's useless at the end. Because if you're not happy, even if you are with the group of people that is the majority, you're not going to be happy with yourself. So stop doing that. And yeah, that's where I'm gonna stop this. I appreciate you, Society Red, for being here with me. I know, there's a bunch of madness out there right now, and I don't get why people, like, have to be in their little groups or whatever. But it's fine with me. um in time, like, I hope that, I'll get a group of people that is going to be, like, somebody who people who care about the stuff that I'm doing. If not, well, I'll continue to do it. There's nothing that's stopping me from doing it. And I have fun doing it. I like talking about this guy because I think he's hilarious. But yeah, man, thank you so much, Sadie Red. Like I said, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate anybody else that shows up and anybody else who watches my channel. I'll keep on trucking, and I'll see you guys around in the chat. Have a good one.